Welcome to the Learn Flute podcast. I'm Rebecca Fuller, and today we'll be chatting it up a little bit, all on the subject around a costly and a little bit lazy, I might add, mistake that many students make when learning how to play the flute. This is episode number 26.
You can do it, and Rebecca will show you how, step by step, all along the way. Introducing the Learn Flute podcast.
Well, hello again. It's always fun to meet you here on this podcast, where we get to discuss some important information all surrounding the subject of learning how to play the flute. Now, I've been teaching a lot of workshops, and I've noticed another little subject that we can talk about here today. I think it will be very enlightening and show you even more about how to help yourself become a really great musician, which I know is your goal. So the subject for talking about today doesn't really necessarily have to do with only learning how to play the flute, but it's a skill that every single musician in the whole entire world can spend a few minutes contemplating on. Let me see if I can explain. Imagine you're playing a new piece of music and you find a measure that has a bar rest in it. Now, being a busy person, you're just excited to play the actual notes in the music and you decide to skip these rests and move on. Well, here's another little scenario. You may be playing along and find there's only one note. Let's say it's a quarter note for this example, and the rest of that measure has rests in it. So you're, again, super excited to get going with the music that you skip right over these and just head right on to the next note. Now, this doesn't seem to be very harmful as you're practicing, but you may not even know the issue you're causing for yourself as a musician. Now, I actually feel a little bit bad for these rests. They just get skipped over quite often. Now, I want you to think about the time that this really, really matters a lot now. Here are a few examples of when this issue will come to light like a big, bright laser beam spotlighting your flaws as a musician. I know that sounds a little dramatic, but this is a big enough issue that we can joke about it a little bit here. Number one would be when you're trying to play with the accompaniment for the first few times after practicing the piece all by yourself. Number two would be a noticeable moment when you're playing with a group, such as your band or your orchestra, and again, after practicing it just by yourself for a few days first. And the third time this issue would be noticed is when you're trying to play a duet with someone. What happens is really quite human, but since we're all human, I guess we need to talk about how to be on the offense instead of the defense when we play music. We tend to only know how to play what we've practiced, and a lot of it is muscle memory. Some of it is laziness, but no matter which it is, the issue of practicing without respecting the rests causes us to skip right over them, even in performance time. It's a problem. Now, I think you may have all done this before, and the reason I know is because I've done it myself, and I see it in my students all the time. I get emails from some of you online students telling me that playing by yourself is super easy, and that trying to play with the accompaniment is way more difficult. There are several reasons for this, but one of them is when we practice by ourselves, we may not be obeying the beat and paying attention to those rests perfectly. Now, a way to combat this for yourself is, of course, to just start paying attention and making a habit of never, ever skipping over these rest areas in your music. But if that doesn't seem to work for you at first, you can use a little pencil magic. Sometimes I have to call this pen magic or marker magic. It just depends on what you decide to write with. You'll want every single count in the numbers above the measure during that rest. For example, the measure we're talking about earlier only had one quarter note in it, and if it were in 4/4 time, we would mark in pencil the numbers 2, 3, 4. That way our eyes have a better chance of seeing that there's actually something there, and not just see the remaining portion of that measure as being empty or ghost-like and skipping over it. We have to realize that there really is something there and that it's important. Or if, for example, you have a 2-measure or more rest where they're stuck together with a bar, you can write the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 1, 2, 3, 4 in the spaces that you're allotted. I would just write them all out. And don't worry if this seems kind of beginner. I do it all the time. And I've been playing for like 30-something years. Well, I don't have to do it all the time, but I would rather practice perfectly and not have any problems during performance than worry about writing on my music just a little bit. Now, I'm thinking about all of the different recitals and performances I've been in along with my students. There's always someone who rushes ahead and doesn't wait for the full measure to end before beginning the next one. It makes the accompanists kind of raise their eyebrows and wonder what in the world is going on. It really is kind of a rookie mistake. But we can all stay on top of this by learning right from the beginning and now to always count out the rest while we're practicing. Never skip, never, ever skip them. Well, I guess this kind of sounded like a serious subject today, but it definitely is an important one. I'd like to invite you to join in on this conversation in the comments section over at the learnfluteonline.com website. On this exact podcast page, you can let me know your experience with teaching yourself to obey the law of the rest, we'll call it. Perhaps you even have a better idea than I have about making sure you never ever miss, even when it's just practice time. Practice time is the only time to teach yourself how to get it ready exactly. Then you can just enjoy yourself with your friends or your colleagues or whoever you're performing with. I always tell my students that they should perform for their pets too because they love it. We hope. This has been episode number 26, and I'm glad you're learning how to play the flute. Good luck in your efforts this week. I'm Rebecca Fuller, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening today. Remember that this is where people of all ages, such as you, can come, learn, and play the musical instrument flute in an easy-to-follow, organized manner, and in the privacy and comfort of your own home, on your own schedule.